So who and what do I think is going to win at the 98th Academy Awards? Hey guys, it's Brian. Welcome to the Awards Contender. So I have one final early Oscar predictions video for you this year, 2025. I always do this one around mid-December, talking about not what I think will be nominated at next year's Oscars, what do I think is going to win? And it's not super clear right now, especially with 3 or 4 of the categories. Like, there's a couple, let's be honest, we know pretty well what's going to win. But there can be some shakeups in the weeks to come, like once we get to Critics' Choice and Golden Globes and SAG and stuff. And I don't think right now we have too many locks, too many sweepers, That's always boring year to year when we have a few categories where the same person in the same movie is winning, like every single place. I don't like that. I like chaos. I hope we get some chaos when it comes to the 98th Academy Awards. So in this video, I will be talking about the top 8 categories, starting with screenplay and working our way to the top Best Picture. So let's begin with Best Adapted Screenplay. What do I think in mid-December is winning that come middle of March? I think adapted screenplay right now, it comes down to One Battle After Another or Hamnet. This is where Hamnet maybe could overtake One Battle, even if One Battle ends up winning Best Picture and Best Director, which kind of looks like the case right now. I mean, we'll talk about it. There could be an upset there. But One Battle right now is looking pretty strong in the top 2 categories. Can it win adapted screenplay? Of course it can, and it probably will. I was thinking about Oppenheimer, how that pretty much swept in picture and director for Christopher Nolan, but it wasn't competitive in adapted screenplay. American Fiction won that at the Oscars. And American Fiction, that had pretty much no shot in picture, director, acting categories and stuff. It was only screenplay. It overtook the big sweeper that year, Oppenheimer. So, could One Battle take picture and director and another film takes adapted screenplay? I think that's possible. Right now, I do think it would be Hamnet's. But I don't know, guys. I feel like if Hamnet takes adapted screenplay, it also wins picture. I don't see a reality where Hamnet overtakes One Battle in adapted screenplay and then One Battle just wins director and picture. That would be very surprising to me. I don't think One Battle is the same kind of movie as Oppenheimer. I think when it comes to the creativity of the screenplay and the characters and stuff, I can see One Battle also winning screenplay for Paul Thomas Anderson. I think this is going to be more the case of a Nora and Everything Everywhere All at Once. So my early Oscar prediction to win Best Adapted Screenplay is One Battle After Another. Next up is Original Screenplay. For months, I have been saying it's probably going to be Sinners. This is where we give Sinners a big Oscar win. I don't think Sinners is going to win picture. Maybe it takes picture somewhere along the way. At the Oscars, I have my doubts if Sinners can win picture. I do think Hamnet is in second place. If something can overtake One Battle there, Hamnet makes more sense to me right now. Ryan Coogler is not winning director. I don't think that's happening. It's not going to win an acting prize. I feel like Sinners wins something big, and I feel like it takes original screenplay. I mean, talk about an original screenplay. Very ambitious. Super successful. It's a great film. It's going to be on many, many people's top 10 lists of the year. And I just think, especially at the Oscars, it gets into picture and director, actor for Michael B. Jordan. Maybe it gets into supporting actor or supporting actress. I think it takes original screenplay still after all these months. I know it's a horror film, it's got vampires, it's not like your typical winner there, I guess. But Get Out, 2017, another film with a primarily black cast. A great film, people love that movie. It got into picture, director, and actor, and it won original screenplay for Jordan Peele. I feel like the same thing could happen with Sinners. It takes original screenplay, alongside maybe a couple technical prizes too. I think the one movie that can overtake Sinners in this category, it's not sentimental value. I really don't think that wins original screenplay. I think It Was Just an Accident, Jafar Panahi. I think that's the film that could maybe surprise in original screenplay pull an Anatomy of a Fall? Remember that? Remember when Anatomy of a Fall won screenplay at the Globes and we were like, what? Whoa. And then it went on to win original screenplay at the Oscars. I feel like It Was Just an Accident is going to be very strong this award season, like could maybe win some things. Jafar Panahi has won Best Director a few times already, like giving Paul Thomas Anderson a run for his money in that category. What if at the Oscars they say, okay, we're going to give Paul Thomas Anderson Director. He deserves that, but we also want to give Jafar Panahi a prize. Let's give him original screenplay. I can see that reality too. I think it's Sinners or It Was Just an Accident. And right now, like I thought about predicting It Was Just an Accident. You know, I could see that happening. But at this moment, I still think Sinners is stronger. And I just think Sinners wins somewhere big. So in a close race, I am still going to predict Sinners here. I still think it takes original screenplay, even though It Was Just an Accident also has a shot. And like if that film wins screenplay at the Globe, starts coming on really strong in this category, I'll be like, yep, Brian, it was just an accident. But right now, my early Oscar prediction to win Best Original Screenplay is Sinners. Next up is Best Supporting Actor. Oh boy, this category. I don't know what is happening right now in Best Supporting Actor. For many, many weeks, I thought it was going to be Sean Penn versus Stellan Skarsgård. And I'm like, which one is it going to be? Penn has already won 2 Oscars in lead actor. Skarsgård has never been nominated before. Penn has the bigger, showier, villainous performance. So that probably wins. Skarsgård in Sentimental Value it's a much more reserved, kind of subtle performance. Will Skarsgård win for that? Like, part of me throughout the last few weeks has thought Sentimental Value wins something in acting. Where is it going to be? I have felt the same thing about One Battle After Another, whether it's in lead actor or supporting actor, supporting actress, even lead actress, I guess you could say. Especially if One Battle wins picture and director, I feel like it takes one acting prize. Who is going to do it? It's still kind of unclear right now. Teyana Taylor has a shot, as we'll talk about in supporting actress. Sean Penn, I still think is very competitive. I mean, what a performance in that movie. He is sensational in that film. I mean, especially toward the end. One of the most memorable performances in the movies this year. And you're telling me he might lose things coming up here at the televised ceremonies to another actor in the same film? It seems kind of crazy to me. But boy, is Benicio del Toro coming on really strong in supporting actor for One Battle After Another. He has won the most critics prizes so far. He's gotten in everywhere he's needed to. You know, he's in a Critics' Choice. He's in at the Globes. He's probably going to be nominated everywhere. And he has also won before. He won in supporting actor for Traffic 25 years ago. I do think it's easier in a way to win a second prize at the Oscars than it is a third. They really make you work for a third prize, like as Meryl Streep found out, right? Like over many decades. You know, that has been my worry with Sean Penn. You also have the likability factor with him. I don't think Sean Penn comes across as the most likable guy in Hollywood. Everybody loves Benicio del Toro. And he gives a frickin' phenomenal performance in One Battle After Another and The Phoenician Scheme. He also had that wonderful movie this year. Hasn't really been recognized for that film. But in giving him a nomination, potentially a win for One Battle After Another, you can kind of be awarding him for both of those amazing performances he gave us in 2025. And you would give One Battle After Another an acting prize at the Oscars. Teyana Taylor, I mean, I don't know, like she could potentially lose, like from Critics' Choice to the Oscars. Lead actor and lead actress are very competitive, you know, Chase Infinity, DiCaprio, they do not have that in the bag at all. Like Chase Infinity, I still think will be battling it out just to get the nomination, so like I don't think she wins actress. DiCaprio has a much better shot to win an actor. But I don't know, like there's a lot of great competition there. Not to say that there's no competition in supporting actor, But right now, I feel like this is where we give One Battle an acting prize. And the more I think about it, I'm like, Brian, I don't think it's going to be Sean Penn at the end of the day. And I don't think Stellan Skarsgård wins the Oscar. I think he can win somewhere. He might win at the Globes or something. But I could see like Del Toro, he wins at Critics' Choice and then he wins at SAG. And it's just like, it's over. Like, he's going to win the Oscar. And it would be a great victory for that movie, for Del Toro. You know, that's much more of a true supporting performance in a movie than Penn and Skarsgård, who are like basically co-leads of their two movies. Like, Del Toro is not in One Battle nearly as much as Penn. So I kind of like the idea, like a true supporting performance wins there. I don't think Paul Mescal can win in supporting actor. He's just going to be happy to be there. I think it's down to those three. And right now, I mean, this is a prediction video. If I have to predict who's going to win in this category in a few months, I think it's Del Toro. I think just based on the evidence of the last few weeks, I think it's happening, guys. So my early Oscar prediction to win Best Supporting Actor is Benicio del Toro, One Battle After Another. Best Supporting Actress. What the hell is happening in Best Supporting Actress? I don't know. You know? For so many months, I was like, Ariana Grande. It's gonna happen. As long as that film is really good or great, it does well at the box office, and you know, it doesn't fall off anywhere. I was like, I think she's going to win this time around. But there have been problems with that movie, man. Like, it missed Best Picture at the Globes. Cynthia Erivo missed Best Actress at Critics' Choice. And it just doesn't seem that the passion is still there for Wicked right now. I think Cynthia Erivo is probably going to miss Best Actress at the Oscars. I don't think she gets in there. She still has a shot at SAG, I believe. But at the Oscars, I mean, she might not even be in slot 6. She might be in 7 or 8. So that hurts Ariana Grande big time, I think. If Wicked for Good misses Best Picture, it misses Best Actress at the 98th Academy Awards, I think Ariana Grande has basically no shot in hell to win Supporting Actress. I think she needed her film to come on stronger here. So I'm using my head here more than my heart. I would love to see her win. I think she's deserving. I loved her performance in both movies. She blew my expectations out of the water. She gave us a spectacular performance across 2 movies. And I just don't think she's going to win, guys. I mean, maybe she wins somewhere along the way. I would love to see it. But then you look at her competition and it's like, okay, well, who could beat her, right? I think there's 3 other people right now who could maybe beat her. You have Teyana Taylor, One Battle After Another. Could she be this season's Mahershala Ali in Moonlight? Someone who does really great work in the first 30 minutes of their film, disappears for the most part, right, for the rest of it, and then near sweeps at the Oscars in their supporting category. That was 9 years ago. Ali did very well. Taylor could be in the same boat. She wins at Critics' Choice and at the Globes, and we're like, oh, it's going to be Taylor. Taylor's going to take it this year. You know, that's possible. Her film is so strong, and she's great in it. She definitely leaves an impression. Even though she's not physically in the movie for a long while, you feel her presence in the narrative, so she could be the winner as well. That would not surprise me. You have Inga Ibsdottir Lilius, who is very, very good in Sentimental Value. I think for most people, she's their favorite performance in that movie. If we want to give Sentimental Value something, it's not winning picture, director. I don't think it's winning screenplay. Stellan Skarsgård may be supporting actor, but it's definitely up in the air. If we want to give that movie an Oscar, maybe it's Inga Ibsdottir Lilius. I mean, in some ways, I could see that happening, even if she doesn't win everywhere. Let's say she wins at the Globes and at BAFTA. You know, she loses at Critics' Choice. She's not even nominated at SAG. But she takes the Globe, she takes the BAFTA, and then she wins the Oscar. She turns out to be the big winner there for Sentimental Value. I think that's possible. And then you have Amy Madigan Weapons, which, man, what if she swept? What if she won at Critics' Choice and the Globes and at SAG and at BAFTA, and then the Oscar? Amy Madigan for a horror performance in a movie that's not going to be nominated in picture, director, other top categories. Like maybe original screenplay, like maybe Weapons has a shot there. I think that would help her a lot if that got into screenplay. But let's say she's the only major nomination for that movie at the Oscars and she wins supporting actress for that, pulls a Ruth Gordon Rosemary's Baby, and she wins the Oscar for supporting actress for Weapons. I would love to see it. That would be an all-timer acting Oscar win. That would be amazing. I'm not like 100% on that. I'm not even like 95%. I just feel like she has to overcome a couple hurdles, right? I think the biggest one, even more than it being a horror film, it's that the movie is not even competitive in Best Picture. That's typically like a scary place to be. Kieran Culkin won supporting actor last time for A Real Pain, which did not get into picture, but it was close. Like it might have been 11th place, maybe 12th place. Like it was right there on the fringe. Weapons, I don't think will be in like the top 15 there. So that's my hesitation, but it's like, okay, if it's not Madigan, if it's not Grande, Taylor, like maybe, but I'm not like overly confident there. I'm also not confident with Lilius. So like in a very close race here, I would say between 4 potential victors, I've got to go with Madigan. She makes the most sense to me right now. She's got the narrative, she got an Oscar nomination 40 years ago, has done wonderful work throughout the years, and it's just one of the most scene-stealing performances in the movies in 2025. The film was a gargantuan hit at the box office, everybody showed up to watch it, and even though it's not going to be in picture, it's a really great movie. It's in my top 5 favorite films of the year. So I would love to see it get a big nomination and a big win. She has won the most critics prizes, right, so far in supporting actress. She's won a bunch of stuff already, like New York Film Critics, and like she's doing really well. So, it could be a situation where she wins at Critics' Choice, she wins at the Globes, and we're like, okay, it's gonna be her. And then like someone else wins at SAG, someone else wins at BAFTA, and she doesn't have it wrapped up at the Oscars. That could happen. But right now in mid-December, I think it's Amy Madigan's Oscar to lose. My early Oscar prediction to win Best Supporting Actress is Amy Madigan, Weapons. Best Actor is another very exciting category. A lot can happen here. I thought for a few months Timothée Chalamet had this sewn up. It was in the bag. I was just like, man, he came really close to winning Best Actor a few months ago at the Oscars for A Complete Unknown. And now he's in another like very popular end of the year drama. It's a movie that's got everything. Marty Supreme opening Christmas Day. It's getting into picture, maybe director, maybe supporting actress, probably screenplay. What do we give Marty Supreme for a win in the top 8 categories? It's of course Best Actor for Chalamet. I just think because he almost won a few months ago and he's the face of Marty Supreme, which is a film since its premiere at the New York Film Festival a few weeks ago, has been very beloved. Critics adore it. People are saying it's amazing. I still haven't seen it yet, which has been frustrating, guys. I've been reaching out to publicists. I'm like, can I watch this movie and review it for my channel? Like, I need to see this. And I guess I might have to wait until Christmas Day to see it. So, that's worst case scenario. I hope I can see it before then. But yeah, like based on everything I've heard, it seems like Chalamet still remains right now in the number 1 slots, but there are 3 other guys who could beat him. Like if Chalamet ultimately doesn't win at the end of the day, I think it's one of these other 3. And I'm just like, if it was going to be one of these guys, who would it be? Would it be DiCaprio for One Battle After Another? Maybe. He's won before. He won a decade ago for The Revenants. He's not like the main focus of One Battle. He's a member of an ensemble. A lot of his material is very humorous, very funny. I'm like, could he actually win the Oscar for that performance? Because his movie might well win picture and director, I think that makes it like absolutely a possibility. DiCaprio could overtake Chalamet and these other guys. DiCaprio is the winner. I don't see it right now. I don't know about you. I don't really see DiCaprio winning for One Battle at the Oscars. Like, that would surprise me at this point. I think if it happens, it's because he's in like the best movie of the year. Everybody adores One Battle After Another, and everybody's watching it. Everybody's just checking his name off on their ballots, and he wins. Like, maybe, I'm not going to predict that here. In a way, I have DiCaprio in 4th place. I think there's 2 other guys right now who are ahead of him. I think if Chalamet loses, he loses to one of these 2. I think he loses maybe to Wagner Moura, The Secret Agents. That film is coming on really strong. I think it has a very good shot right now of getting into Best Picture. Not just international feature, it pulls an I'm Still Here and also shows up in picture. I think that will be huge for Wagner Moura if that happens. I think Moura is winning Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama at the Golden Globes. That will be like a big step up for him to be competitive elsewhere. He has a shot at SAG. I don't know, like because it's an international film and performance, maybe he misses at SAG. That is up in the air right now. But I do think if his movie can crack that top 10 in Best Picture at the Oscars, and there is that feeling of like Chalamet, he's still too young. Do we have to give him a win here? There's also some of those comments Chalamet has been saying in recent days. I know some people have been put off by. They're like, Jesus Christ, dude. You know, you're not Marlon Brando. You're not like one of the greatest actors who ever lived. Like, you know, shut your trap. I know there's been that thinking. I mean, that would be kind of depressing, right? If Chalamet like talks himself out of an Oscar win just because of his interviews and some of the things he's been saying, people are like, oh God, no, enough of you. Let's go with someone else. But don't fool yourself. There are politics involved when it comes to Oscar nominations and wins and stuff. And I mean, if there's enough people who are put off by Chalamet and maybe some comments and certain things the last few weeks, like maybe they might give their vote to another person. It might be enough for a Wagner Moura to win. It's a very kind of reserved performance in The Secret Agent. It's not your typical kind of performance that wins Best Actor. That's where like my confusion is a little bit. I think he easily wins the Globes. Can he win at the Oscars? I don't know. I wouldn't feel very confident predicting that here. In some ways, I feel like the person who has the best chance of overtaking Chalamet is Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. Even though that movie is not necessarily competitive to get into Best Picture at the Oscars, it still could, like in a surprise. It did make it into picture at the Globes, and that was huge. I think if Blue Moon were to shock us all and get into picture at the Oscars, then Hawke is looking really good. I just think based on the strength of his performance in that movie, playing a real-life person, it's a physical transformation. He's a veteran actor who has been around since the 80s. He has 4 Oscar nominations to date. He's never won. He's beloved. Like, everybody loves Ethan Hawke. I think everybody would be thrilled to see him win an Academy Award. That would be a moment. You know, he's had a much longer career than Chalamet, and he is bonkers great in Blue Moon. It's one of his best performances ever. I'm kind of like quietly rooting for Ethan Hawke to be a thing. There's no way he sweeps. Like, that's not going to happen. But I could see like maybe Chalamet wins at Critics' Choice and at the Globes, but then Hawke wins at SAG. And maybe he wins at BAFTA too, and we've got a race going into the Oscars. I think the biggest thing that hurts him is if Blue Moon is just not showing up in other categories, it doesn't get into screenplay or picture or anything, and Marty Supreme is in picture, maybe director, screenplay, like it gets 5, 6, 7 nominations, Blue Moon only gets 1 or maybe 2 and that's it. That's where I think Chalamet still rises above these other contenders. That's why I still think right now Chalamet has the edge. But it could be Hawke, it could be Moura, it could be DiCaprio. Chalamet does not have this sewn up. It is not in the bag for him right now. I could see an upset here. Chalamet ultimately loses the Oscar even if he wins a couple key prizes along the way. They instead go with a Moura or a Hawke on Oscars nights. And that would be kind of exciting. I don't know. I just think like in mid-December, if I am predicting right now, Marty Supreme, it comes off to me as strong enough of a movie, you know, getting into picture and doing well in terms of its nominations. It seems like that film is going to win something at the Oscars. I know people were saying the same thing about A Complete Unknown, another Chalamet vehicle a few months ago, and that film won nothing. So maybe Marty Supreme just goes home empty-handed. It doesn't have to win something. I just think because Chalamet got so close a few months ago for A Complete Unknown, and because he is the face of Marty Supreme, that film coming out Christmas Day and, being really strong in January when all of the voting starts taking place and stuff, I still think it's Chalamet, but I'm not as confident as I was a few months ago. My early Oscar prediction to win Best Actor is Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme. And Best Actress, kind of similar to the Chalamet situation, for a few months I thought this was Jessie Buckley's to lose. Nobody is beating her. She is going to sweep from Critics' Choice to the Oscars. This is her time, her moment, the performance of the year. Hamnet is going to be one of the strongest contenders, like in picture and director and stuff. Hamnet is going to win something big. It could be adapted screenplay. It could be picture. I still have that on the table. It's possible. But it just made the most sense to me. It wins one big prize, Best Actress, for Jessie Buckley. I think that makes the most sense. I still feel like she wins today. It's going to take a lot for me to drop her from my winner prediction. She's going to have to lose a lot of stuff in January for me to go, oh. Maybe it's not Buckley. Maybe she's not as strong as I thought. I just think she is so devastating in that film. She brought me to tears on multiple occasions. It's a performance that will stick with me the rest of my life. I think she is spectacular in that. I still think she deserves to win the Oscar, and I still think it's happening, but I'm not as confident now as I was a month ago, 2 months ago. Rose Byrne has been coming on really strong for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. She is older, a little bit more of a veteran actress who's never gotten her flowers. Like Ethan Hawke, she is a very beloved figure in the industry, and she also gives one of the great performances of the year. I mean, she is on another level in that thing. I watched it a second time, fell even deeper in love with that performance, and she would also be an inspired win in Best Actress. I do think she's going to give Jessie Buckley a run for her money. It's not going to be a sweep, I think, at this point. I mean, at the Globes, they're in different categories. Buckley is in drama, and Byrne is in comedy musical, which is kind of crazy, right? If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You in comedy. It's got a couple funny moments, but that's a very serious film, so the Globes are not going to help us, because I do think right now those will be the two winners there. Critics' Choice, I could see a Critics' Choice Rose Byrne beats Jessie Buckley, but then let's say it's SAG, Buckley overtakes Byrne there, and then we have a race. I mean, if Buckley loses at Critics' Choice, she wins at the Globes in drama, but then loses at SAG, then I will get nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. I will be nervous. I mean, keep in mind, last season in Best Actress, Demi Moore beat Mikey Madison at the Globes and at Critics' Choice and at SAG, and she still lost the Oscar, and her movie was in Best Picture and Best Director and Original Screenplay. So Moore had a lot going for her. She also had a career narrative. It didn't pan out. They went with the stronger film, the performance in the movie that ultimately won Best Picture, Mikey Madison at the Oscars for Honora. And I feel like even if Buckley loses a couple key places along the way, I think Buckley probably wins at BAFTA, even if she were to lose at both Critics' Choice and SAG. Buckley makes sense to me at BAFTA, and as we learned with Mikey Madison, you just have to win at BAFTA, and then you can win the Oscar. What prevents me from predicting Rose Byrne here to win the Academy Award is that I just don't think her movie is strong enough to do it. Her movie is not getting into picture, director, probably not original screenplay. I guess you could argue there's a slight possibility. I think right now, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You at the Oscars just gets that one Oscar nomination for Best Actress, Rose Byrne. And I just think if Hamnet is in picture and director and supporting actor, is competitive and adapted screenplay, it gets 2, 3, 4 technical nominations. You're telling me Rose Byrne could overtake Jessie Buckley at the Oscars? You know, with both performances being outstanding, with Buckley never having won before, and with her movie in a much better position than If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, I still think it's Buckley, even if Byrne comes on really strong. And some people start saying, like after SAG and stuff, people are like, Brian, it's not going to be Buckley. Like, Byrne is winning. I'm just not going to believe it, you guys. Unless Byrne overtakes Buckley at BAFTA or something, then I'll say, oh shit, you know. If going into the Oscars, Buckley has only won the Golden Globe and nothing else, then I might say, okay, it might not happen. I think even if Buckley only wins the Globe and BAFTA and nothing else, like in the big televised ceremonies, I think she still takes the Oscar. I think Hamnet wins something big, and for me, that's the prize you give that movie. I don't think anyone else in Best Actress this season is competitive to win, like Chase Infinity, Emma Stone, Amanda Seyfried, Renate Reinsve. I don't think they win. Someone recently said, what about Chase Infinity? She's in like the strongest film of the year, one battle after another. Maybe she could win actress. I think her win this season is getting the nomination, is getting in. I don't think Chase Infinity can win the Oscar for Best Actress. Like, not even by a little. Like, I just don't think that could happen. I really do think this comes down to Buckley and Byrne. And even though Byrne might win a couple things, I still very much believe in Jessie Buckley. My early Oscar prediction to win Best Actress is Jessie Buckley, Hamnet. And then the last two categories, guys, I'm not going to spend too long on director and picture. Paul Thomas Anderson has to win the Oscar for Best Director, right? Like, he has 11 nominations to this day, never has won in screenplay or director or picture. He has won nothing. He is a producer of One Battle After Another, so that film gets into picture, director, adapted screenplay. He will be on 14 nominations. I guess you could argue, well, they could give him adapted screenplay, and then they give director to someone else, but I just think if you give PTA a big win for that movie, it's in director. His directorial vision of that movie is one for the ages. This is the film he deserves to win director for. And I still think it's happening. I know Jafar Panahi has been coming on kind of strong here the last few weeks. He has beaten PTA in some places, like critics' prizes and stuff. And I think going into like award season with the televised ceremonies, Jafar Panahi might well be in second place. Maybe somewhere big along the way, Panahi overtakes PTA, like maybe. But I just think at the Oscars, like Best Director, it's going to Paul Thomas Anderson. That will just not sit right with me if someone else wins. I just think he has the strongest film. This is his moment. This is his time to win Best Director at the 98th Academy Awards. And it would be crazy for me to suggest right now that someone else is beating him. So my early Oscar prediction to win Best Director is Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another. And same thing with Best Picture. I could talk about Hamnet. Maybe that could be a spoiler. It's a very emotional film. You have Sinners, which has done very well the last few months. Is like one of the greatest films of the year. Maybe Sinners could win. You have Sentimental Value. You have Marty Supreme. It Was Just an Accident. And, you know, I mean, I don't think Picture is like 100% in the bag. We could have a surprise, maybe. But so far, like at the Critics' Prizes in early December, even when PTA doesn't win Director, One Battle After Another still wins Picture. And I just don't see a reason why PTA would win Director, maybe adapted screenplay, but then his film doesn't take Picture. The last few years, we've had Anora and Oppenheimer and Everything Everywhere All at Once win Picture and Director, right? We haven't had a split in a while. I mean, I guess you could argue, well, it's been a few years since we've had a split in Director Picture. Maybe that'll be this year. It's not like outside the realm of possibility. Maybe, you know, maybe something comes on just strong enough in the end. It overtakes One Battle After Another in Picture. But I think most people agree, like, if we have to choose the greatest movie of 2025, it's One Battle After Another. It's the movie of the year. I think it should win Best Picture at the 98th Academy Awards, and I think it's going to. My early Oscar prediction to win Best Picture is One Battle After Another. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing, and let me know in the comments below who and what do you think is winning at the 98th Academy Awards on March 15th, 2026, and I'll see you next time at the Awards Contender.